Again, I hope you're well. So last week I did a little video on blaming others and the impact of that. And this week I'm going to look at the other side of the coin, which is what happens when others blame you when things go wrong. When we get this right, well, let's first of all, when we get this wrong. When we get this wrong, when others blame us, what happens is we internally have a massive burst of often negative energy. This is what I'm going to term a reactive response. Often what this triggers is past events, high levels of anger, frustration. You want to often physical sensations like your blood flow and you want to get up and attack the person. And all of that creates a reaction that is personally and professionally compromising. When we get this right, we're able to feel, sense, and be conscious to our own responses. It's almost like they work in parallel. We're able to release what's causing the reactivity, which enables us to give an appropriate response to the situation that's been given. So what I'm going to do in this short video is I'm going to talk about how to manage a reactive response and what causes it. And then I'm going to talk about how you can give a congruent, self-aware response in a short period of time and what you need to do to be able to do that. So here's the thing. This works whether the blame is fair or unfair. So fair blame is, you know what, you actually had some responsibility for that thing that happened. You did cause it in some way. And so I call that fair blame. Unfair blame is where you're a scapegoat, right? You're actually being blamed for something that you didn't have anything to do about. Now, here's the thing is in all my coaching, I've actually worked out, it doesn't matter whether it's fair blame or unfair blame. Often people have a reactive response regardless. It triggers within us this response that we can't control and we like to control it. So I want to work with that response regardless of in your situation, whether you're being blamed for something that's fair or unfair. So here's the thing. With a reactive response, this is how you observe it. I just want you to observe yourself. When something goes wrong, an event happens that didn't go as planned, a person responds, there's behavior that's not appropriate, or a process breaks that partly you're responsible for. Could be any of those scenarios. In that situation, I want you to observe your own behavior. What happens when we react is that, as I said, there's a whole bunch of internal negative, often energy that's created. Could be sensations, can be feelings, can be thoughts. Often it's in that order. And it's yucky, right? It's not nice because we are being blamed regardless of whether it's fair or unfair. If we respond in that moment, I would say that we are going to likely damage potentially relationships and damage our reputation potentially if we are unaware of those reactions. Because often they're subconscious and we'll do something before we realize. We'll send an email, we'll speak in a terse way, we'll speak with a certain tone, and that will create it'll be mirrored back to us in the response of the other person. And suddenly you're in a conflict, a disagreement. So here's the process to respond with consciousness, with awareness. The first step, and I'm going to say that you can, with practice, do this in 5 minutes. The first step is to not go outside, but go inside. General rule with my coaching in general is before we respond externally, we have a little check internally about where we're at. So as we check internally, we do a quick little scan. Okay, I've been blamed. What's going on in my heart? What's going on in my head? What's going on in my gut? And the key thing here is to try and feel the feelings, not to intellectualize what's happened or think about the other person. It's to feel how you feel. And as you feel those feelings, just relax and release. Relax and release. And allow the energy to dissipate. Now, what you'd feel is the energy actually, when you get good at this, you'll find the energy moves upwards. Moves up, heart, head, and then out the top of your crown of your head. And that's a release of either a prior event, an emotion. And once you've done that, then you can use your head much more clearly. You're not clouded by the emotion or the reactivity of the blame. And you can think, okay, what are the facts of the situation from three perspectives? From my perspective, from the other's perspective, and from the perspective of a neutral person. And you might want to write those down, jot down those three perspectives really quickly. You could do this on the bus on the way home. You can do it at nighttime, on a phone. You could take 10 minutes away from watching TV and do it. And then once you've got that triangulated analysis, then create 5 key messages that you want to communicate in any response. And the reason I like the 5 messages thing is because then it doesn't matter whether this happens in a conversation the next day, whether it happens in chat or on a Zoom meeting or on Facebook Messenger or where it happens, you've prepared yourself emotionally and you've prepared yourself from a in terms of what you're going to say so that you can do it on any medium. So just to review, so many of us, when we get blamed for things, have a reactive response where it can be professionally and personally damaging. What I'm recommending is that we use a process to become more aware of the feeling that causes, to not resist it, but to understand it so that we can then triangulate the facts of the situation and come up with a really measured, appropriate response when we're blamed. I hope that's been useful. See you next time on The Reason on the Road. Cheers. Bye.